Okay, we're having some technical difficulties. Maybe it's better now. Cool, I think we're live now. So welcome here. My name's Cam. I'm going to be walking you through this house that just recently got under contract. And I'm going to be talking in a minute. We're going to go through a walk through the place. You can see it, see the condition it's in, as well as we're going to talk about multiple different exit strategies on this property. And you know, there's probably 6 or 7 exit strategies on this property. I'm going to be focusing today on 3 of them. And yeah, so I'm excited to share this property with you. So real briefly, how I got it, it's through my network. It's a guy that I've known for a while. It's had a couple properties, and he's looking to unload his property, basically an absentee landlord. And so yeah, so just want to show you the roof here real quick. All right, so I don't know if you can see that. Roof's in pretty rough shape. So yeah, so I picked up the property from an investor who's looking. This is last in their portfolio, and currently dealing / working with the tenants. They've moved out, but haven't taken all their stuff with them. So we're in the midst of getting everything out of the house right now. This is all the stuff. So let me take you for a quick tour of this place. It's a great bungalow, great neighborhood. So it's a 1,300 square foot bungalow with a full basement. And yeah, so it's great little backyard. There was a lot of stuff in here that was left over. So we're just in the midst of cleaning it out. So it's a master bedroom with the bathroom there. So 3 bedrooms upstairs. There's another one there. This guy, the bathroom, main floor laundry, which is cool. And yeah, I mean, you saw the garage. Great big double car garage that it's got a ton of stuff in it. Let me take you downstairs. Hopefully the signal's not going to drop off. So yeah, this is the 4th bedroom. Taking off the baseboards, there's some mold and stuff. And downstairs rec room. Yeah, this is a new, like it's plumbed for a bathroom. This is a den. It doesn't have proper egress there. And then the utility room, which has got just a bunch of stuff. And so yeah, we're getting this place cleaned out. And basically the all the different exit strategies that you could do on this property, buy, rent, and hold if the numbers work. You could do a flip, you could wholesale the deal, any number of those things. You know what, I'm gonna go outside where the signal's better. Signal's just not great here. So yeah, I could do a wholesale on it, and I'm going to walk you through those numbers real quick. I rent a whole flip. It doesn't need a full rehab. Basically, it's a roof, some mechanical work, and a ton of paint and elbow grease, and that's really what needs to be done on it. What else could you do? So you could do a lease option on it. You could structure this as a no money down deal as well. And so the three the three exit strategies that I'm running numbers on right now on this one are: one, to wholesale it; two, to fix and flip, sell it on the open market; or three, do a fix and flip it into a rent own or a lease option, same thing. And so those are the three options that I'm going to be running numbers on. Today I'm going to give you real brief numbers, but at a different time I'm going to be doing actual spreadsheet numbers, and I'll post that on this playlist here on the Creative Investor YouTube channel. And the playlist, I believe, is called House from Start to Finish, and that's the one that will have all the different videos specifically to this property and what I'm doing. So I pulled comparables on this property. I got a realtor to pull comps for me, and basically there's not a lot, but the high water mark is 430,000, and the average is 390 on a house this style in this neighborhood. So that gives me some really good information to work with. And so if I did a wholesale deal on this, depending on how much work the wholesaler would do on it, there's not a lot of money in the buy, in the sense that, oftentimes wholesalers are looking for, you'll hear people talking about 50 cents on the dollar, even less, or people are, maybe 60 cents on a dollar. And basically what that means is you're buying it at a price today that when it's fixed up and then either sold or reappraised at the after repair value, the ARV, that would be, you'd have that difference of profit between the two, right? So if I'm buying this for 60 cents on the dollar, that means that I'm buying it at 60% of what it could be worth, all up. But the nice thing about this property is it doesn't really need a full rehab. I mean, the kitchen's in decent shape. It needs a bunch of drywall work, paint throughout the whole thing, maybe a little bit of flooring, and the roof, right? So that's roughly between $20,000 and $25,000 for all of that. So when I run the wholesale numbers on that, on what we could wholesale it for, it would either be, it would be 79 cents on the dollar. And for the minor repairs needed, that's pretty good. There's some money to be made. If you're a flipper and you're just in it quick and you want out, not a super deal that way. But if you want to buy it and put in some elbow grease and do a bunch of the work yourself, 79 cents on the dollar is actually pretty good, because this thing could be move-in ready in as quick as 2 weeks in terms of just clean and paint. And so that's a decent opportunity there to like if I was to wholesale. Now I could fix and flip it and put that money in and then turn around and sell it. The problem with that is, there's definitely some profit there, but with selling it on the MLS, there'd be a cut there. Plus you got holding fees if you want to stage it, all that sort of stuff. So that would be the fix and flip. The third option is what I call a burrito, and it's like a BRRRR. So a BRRRR is a buy, renovate, renovate, repair, rent it, refinance it, and then repeat. Where basically it's you buy it for a low enough amount, get in there, do the work, get a great tenant in there, sign a lease as long as you can get them, and good market rents, and you go back to your bank, you refinance it, then you pull the money out. Hopefully you're pulling out not only the money you put in for the rentals, but also your down payment. That's ideally what you want to do with a BRRRR. And then what that essentially gets you is you are now into the deal with none of your own money. So it's a bank financing, right? So to have a great credit score, you've got showing of your deposit funds in your account for 90 days, and the bank will lend to you again for another mortgage. So for me, this is where I hit a wall about 12 years ago. 12 years ago. And the bank said, we're not going to do any more mortgages. Your debt servicing is out of whack, all that sort of stuff, or it is on the verge of becoming out of whack. So that was a frustration for me. And many investors I talked to hit that. And sometimes it's even their first deal that they can't even get a mortgage. Every investor hits that wall at some point where the bank will say, no more mortgages for a while. Traditional financing. I'm not talking about private lenders, stuff like that. So for me, the burrito is a version of the BRRRR, and it's, basically a BRRRR is a long-term buy, rent, and hold, which is important for every investor to have those in their portfolio, because what that does for you is it just gives you a long-term asset that will just keep on growing. And so what that means is over a period of time, you'll be able to pull out, the property will increase in value, you get it reappraised, and you pull out some equity tax-free, right? So if your property goes up by $50,000 or $100,000 and you're able to pull that out, obviously your rents have to be able to cover that. But when you pull out that money, you can now use that to buy another property or down payment or whatever. And then that money you pulled out is tax-free. That's not taxable income. So that's an awesome strategy. So the burrito is a shorter term BRRRR, meaning that you're gonna buy it, you're gonna rehab it, renovate it, that sort of stuff. And then rather than a long-term hold, you're gonna put in and qualify a great tenant buyer who's eventually gonna buy the property after 3 years on average. And so with that lease, now you've got a lease. It's a higher lease amount, which is awesome because it's a premium for someone to have this service to get into home ownership. You take that 3-year lease, you go back to your bank and you refinance it, pull out your capital, and then you keep on going. So the burrito is an awesome strategy, which I love teaching on, and I love doing it myself. And it's just a great strategy to have higher than normal cash flow, because your monthly expenses are lower because your tenant's responsible for repairs. We will have gone through this house from start to finish, and we'll know exactly what the potential issues are. Obviously the first one that we got to fix is the roof. I'm going to get my furnace guy in here to check the furnace and see how much life it got left in it. And but then the tenant, if there's a water, a sewer backup or anything like that, or water coming in the basement, the tenant's responsible for that stuff. If something goes on the stove, the tenant's responsible for that. By the way, if you're watching this and you got questions, or if you just want to say hi, let me know where you're from. Just chat down in the bottom. I'd love to converse with you. Answer any questions as well. So when I look at these 3 strategies, I've got some quick pros and cons here. So if I wholesale it, with the contract that I've got on it, basically what I can do is it's a quick chunk of money. I'm in and out. Sometimes you don't do anything. This one we decided to clean it out because we still are dealing with the tenants. Get their stuff, and you got to put it into storage for a couple months. So that's the pro on the wholesale, is that you just get quick money. The con on it is maybe some missed opportunities in terms of, the other things that you can do. The fix and flip, the pro is more money. The con is it's more work. You're getting financing on this one. Probably could get the owner to hold financing for up to 3 months, which actually, now I think of it, it's pretty attractive. I would just pay them rent rather than paying mortgage payments. I just pay them rent, which is cool. We've done that a bunch of times before, getting the owner just to keep on title. We secure it down with our legal contracts. But yeah, so the pro is more money. Like another pro tech could be that we don't have to qualify for financing on it. The cons are the more work, the renos, all that sort of stuff. It's, if you've done flips, there's surprises, there's a bunch of work, all that sort of stuff. The third option that I'm talking about is a burrito, where I turn it into a rent-own. And so the pros on that one is I would make the most amount of profit on it, because what would end up happening would be that from the tenant buyer, we would get either 10 or 20,000 down up front. We get higher than normal monthly cash flow with less expenses because we don't have to account for vacancy on a burrito. We don't have to account for maintenance because we've already looked after that when we do the rehab. And so money up front, higher than normal monthly cash flow, and we'll get a chunk of money at the end when the tenant buyer goes to qualify it. The cons are, again, it's a bunch of work. Got to qualify a great tenant buyer, but that's, I've got systems in place for that. So we are just putting up an ad now and, to test the market. So what I'll do on these properties, when I'm testing these different things, whether I do the wholesale or I do a burrito, is, first of all, I get the comps. But then what I'll do is I'll put up a dummy ad that will be maybe a picture of the property, but non-distinct. So, or it'll be coming soon, and I'll describe the property and I'll share the benefits of the property, benefits of the community that it's in, the benefits of the house, talk about all that great stuff, as well as the numbers. And, in terms of, how much we require down, 10 or 20, and then the rent plus the credit that I'll give back to them each month is going to be anywhere from $1,800 to $2,300 a month on this property. So from that, I'll credit them back either $500 or $250, I think it is, each month. But that $500 or $200 is cash flow for me now that I credit back to them on paper in the future. So if you got questions about that, I can go more into depth on that. So yeah, so those are the 3 exit strategies that I am looking at on this property. Like I said at the top, I've got this property under contract. I've got, variable scenarios in which I can do, including a clause to back out of the deal. I don't think I will on this one. I will exercise my clause to close on the property. And yeah, so I'm excited about this one because, I get to solve a headache for the owner, and I can make profit for myself throughout this deal, as well as, help a family get into home ownership. Oh, the one thing I should mention, and for some of you who are watching, maybe your mind was going there already, but I've got the opportunity to set this up as a no money down deal for myself, where I bring in a new investor to purchase a property and give them double-digit returns on the property while I'm still making my profit, helping a family get into home ownership. So that's a pretty cool scenario. That's really one of the reasons why I love lease option investing, is because you can be so creative and it's a win-win-win, right? The tenants aren't paying exorbitant amount of interest. In fact, they don't pay any interest on it. What they do is they buy it at a fair market value price. And so that's a win for them. We're helping them get into home ownership, but they get to live in it now while they are qualifying for a mortgage, and then they can improve the property. And then when they qualify, they don't have to move. They're in here, it's stability for the family. And that's just an awesome win for them. For my investor, if I get an investor to purchase this property, it's a win for them because it's a hands-off turnkey investment. Basically, they come up with 22% of the purchase price and qualify for a mortgage. And then we pay them rent every month. And so that's a win for them because they're making passive returns, double-digit returns, and their funds are secured by the asset, which is the real estate property. And then for myself, I get money up front for the deal. If you got any questions, just drop comments below. I know this feed was kind of on and off. The signal was a little bit weak here, but let me know your questions and comments and thoughts. I'd love to hear back from you and answer any questions you got. So cool. Thanks for joining me today. Have an awesome day.